Well, Jocelyn Garcia-Moreno, muchísimas gracias por darme tu tiempo para tener esta conversación hoy. I'm going to switch it to English. We were just speaking
Yeah.
Spanish the whole time. But for the larger community, we can do it in English so they understand
Yeah, for sure.
for the most part. But we can switch to Spanish too. I just love that you're bilingual and we have that benefits of going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I'm so happy that we're recording these episodes. Every time I tell teachers in the community that Lincoln has a lot of pockets of excellence, your classroom is one of those pockets. You have so much going on in that class that is amazing, that I just love that you're sitting here, that the Lincoln community is going to learn about you. When I walk into your room, the way it is set up, the way it is decorated, the care that you put into every single piece in the classroom, it tells me you are welcome. Come on over. This is your space.
Mm-hmm.
Without you saying anything. Sometimes I don't even see you.
Yeah.
I just see the class. And I love it. Like the vibe of your class, the setting. And it's not only because I noticed it, is the kids notice it. I go to your room during lunchtime and you have several students who are not even your students in your roster, but they are there. They see something in you and in the layout of your class that makes them want to be there. And that's such a compliment to you as a teacher. You have kids that see you in the hallways, that hear about you for reference, and they choose to go to your room. That's so beautiful. So I wanted to start this episode just giving you a huge shout out for what you do in your class, how beautiful it is. And Javi was also recording some footage there, and it's just beautiful. I really hope and really, hope that whoever is watching this episode stop by your room, ask you questions about what you do, because you definitely put your heart into it. Especially because you're not only a Lincoln teacher, you were a Lincoln student. Mm-hmm. So your story with this place is beautiful. Yeah. So why don't we start there? Tell us who you are. Right now you're a math teacher, but your story goes back to when you were a kid here at Lincoln.
Yeah. Thank you so much for everything that you've said. I think a little bit about my story. My parents and I decided to move to Mexico when I was 7. Came back freshman year, we moved a lot, and then sophomore year, that's when I started my coming here to Lincoln again. At that point, I was an English language learner, like a lot of the kids. I lived 7 years in Mexico, so most of my English was gone. And a lot of the teachers here supported me with pushing me a lot, and I think that's one of the main reasons why I love Lincoln so much, just because of the support that I received from teachers who are still here, like Mr. Gallegos, Ms. Andu, Ms. Lucero. A lot of the teachers that I had classes with, I remember my first semester as sophomore year, most of my teachers told me, you know what, we're pushing you to honors. Like, you're going to do this, do it. And so that really made me feel like I had a place here. And like I really belonged in school. And so I just made school my second home. And I really loved Lincoln for that. I was one of those students who would always have the most spirit for everything. Spirit Week, I dressed up every day. I would always be trying to do different things, different sports and everything, just because I felt so welcomed here because of the teachers that I had. And so there was a class that was offered here at Lincoln called Pathways to Teaching, and I always knew I wanted to be a teacher. With the interactions of teachers that I had here, and also that class really focused on social justice and social injustice issues, and so it really gave me a purpose of, okay, I wanted to be a teacher, but now this is my why I want to be a teacher. It really opened my eyes into the ways I was discriminated against in other schools my freshman year because of my English or language barriers or because of the color of my skin, And so the fact that I saw a lot of those things not happening here at Lincoln, but instead I saw a community where I really belonged, and I was learning all of those things, and I experienced having really great teachers. I told myself I know I want to be a teacher, but this is why I need to be a teacher. Not I want to, but I need to. And so right when I graduated, because of this class that was offered, I graduated with a para certificate. So I graduated May 2018. By August 2018, I was already working here as a para.
Wow.
And so one of the things that I find very, very symbolic in all of this is that I took sophomore year, my first year here, I took math class in room 306. And when I was a para, I supported Miss Stromberg, who was in room 306. And when she retired, I took her room, which is 306. So I've gone through this room so many different so many years of my life. And so that's really symbolic for me, you know, that I went through all of these stages in that room, and now it's my room, you know, my place, and the place of the students and anyone who wants to come in. And so, yeah, that's a little bit of my story and my story here at Lincoln.
So, so you graduated from high school in May. In August, you were already a paraprofessional. Did you? So you went to school to get your teacher license. You went to college as you were a para.
Yes.
So you were working here, going to school.
So
that's awesome.
I took a lot of college classes here at Lincoln. I was able to graduate with my math licensure in 3 years. So in 2021, I graduated. I took that break because of COVID and family things, and so I stopped working here at Lincoln as a para for 1 year, and decided to go back for my master's because I was accepted in a 1-year master's program at CU, and I got a full ride, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it. And that's where I got my teaching license, and then I came back, and then right now I'm about, hopefully, this semester I'll finish my doctorate.
Oh my God.
So I've been in school since I can remember.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So you're going to finish your doctorate, then you're going to turn 22.
Right? Yes, that's what I tell the kids.
What an example.
Thank
I
you.
love that. I love that. And I hope that you talk to your kids about that.
Yeah.
So they can see you and they can see a pioneer that's paving the road with your challenges and culture, story, history, background, all those things. And you can prove to your kids, hey, let's do it together. Let's get into your classroom and think about the way you teach, the way you plan your lessons, the way you show and chase excellence. Talk to us about your superpowers. When you think of the kind of teacher you are, which is an amazing teacher. Oh, and that doesn't mean that you're perfect. That doesn't mean that, like all of us have room for growth. Like I don't want to present you as this perfect teacher.
No.
I just want to present you as an amazing teacher.
Yeah.
So, with a humility that characterizes us as Latinos, let's acknowledge the things that you do well as well. So why don't you tell us, what are your superpowers? What are you doing well in your class that other people could be curious about and ask you and maybe enrich their own practices?
Thank you. So for that, when y'all told me about this opportunity, I honestly, every time someone tells me that I'm a good teacher, I feel like, am I really? I've seen all these amazing teachers doing all of these great things, and I feel like I still, like you said, I have so much to learn. This is my 3rd year teaching, and every year has been like a huge growth opportunity for me. And I keep seeing all these teachers, and they're doing these great things. So I asked the kids that we were doing this, and, let them know that they might come into class. And so what do you think makes me a good teacher, or what do you appreciate about me? And a lot of what I got is that I am very relatable to them for many ways, not just because I was a Lincoln student here, but because I understand a lot of, like you said, the struggles and the story of, especially with my Latino and Latina kids, that they went through so many hardships to get here, and they said that I'm really open, and I do think that's true. I always tell them I will always be an open book with you all. If you have anything to ask, I will answer it, because I want you to know that just like you, I'm human, and we all went through things. And so I've opened myself with very vulnerable things with them, and I think that's what supported me to really create very strong relationships and bonds with students. A few years ago, I had some family members pass away, and I came back and I told them this is what I'm going through, and we are human, and it's okay to not be okay, and I want you to know that I'm not okay right now, so that when you're not okay, you can trust me with that. And so they've responded well to that. And I think because of that, the classroom as a whole, I try not to be this strict adult figure that will impose things on you, but rather I am this teacher and I want you to learn with me and we want to learn together. So my classes, I joke with the kids as we go. If I'm teaching something and a kid cracks a joke about something that it's related to the lesson, then I use that to grab their attention, and we use that momentum to make it more engaging and something that they can relate to. Because, like we all know, math, not everyone likes math. Not everyone feels like they're good at math, and we always get that I'm not a math person. But I always tell them who is a math person? We're all math people. We all do math at some point. And so I think being very adaptable was one of the other things that they said, that I can take out the seriousness of a situation and make it lighthearted, and that brings in a lot of the students' attention and willingness to do.
That's fantastic. You're saying you're open, you're relatable, adaptable. You make kids feel safe. So it feels like a very warm attitude to make kids be part of your classroom and like it. Yeah. How about your lesson planning? How do you design lessons? How do you all the instruction? Because what math level are you teaching?
Right now, Math 3, regular, honors, and financial algebra in Spanish.
So this year, wow, okay, so ILA is in Spanish. So you have, this year you are being expected to do things a little bit different. You're doing lesson internalization, unit internalization, DDIs, PLCs. Mm-hmm. How is that going for you? What is going well, and what is you feel like this might not be helping me as much?
I think I really appreciate the people I'm working with, and that's been since the day I got here. I feel like the math team, huge shout out to them. We always get along pretty well and we work well together. Right now, Ms. Diaz and I are the only ones in the Math 3 PLC, so that helps, that it's two of us, that we can just talk to each other and know that what we're doing. Sometimes we don't approach something the same, but we come together with conclusions on this is the best for my students at this moment. And so we are able to share ideas and exchange thoughts on that, which I really appreciate. I do appreciate the changes that have been done in terms of PLC and the way we approach PLC. I feel like right now I have more time to focus on my lessons and make them more mine and the kids, if that makes sense. I have been teaching Math 3 for the past 2 years. This is my third year teaching that subject. And so I have a lot of things that I've done that I can tell they're not working, and maybe I need to change this. But something that I've done since the moment I started is I always try to introduce some sort of games. So, for example, right now we're doing logarithms, and since the first year, I've been playing a log game with students where I actually bring prizes, and it's a log bingo. And so we play bingo in class, and they have fun with it, and they're also doing math. And so that's what I want my classes to be, and that's what I try my lessons and my lesson planning to be focused on, finding ways where they're not going to feel this burden of doing the math, but rather, it's kind of fun. Let's give it a try.
Make it playful. Mm-hmm. I feel like I want to talk to you about 1,000 things, but we have to wrap this up. As we wrap it up, I want to ask you, who do you want to give shout outs? Who, in your experience at Lincoln, not only as a teacher right now, but when you were a student, this is a place that you belong. Who do you want to give shout outs as we finish this session?
I think everyone. When I think about shouting people out, I always think about those teachers who were my teachers and teachers who I never had, but still made me feel welcomed. So just to name a few, Mr. Gallegos, Mr. Guerrero, Ms. Lucero, Ms. Sandu, Ms. Calvo, like all of these teachers that at some point they were my teachers, and now I see them as colleagues, and they bring me a lot of, I don't want to say hope, but remembering how they were with me as a student. I always say I want to be half of the teacher that you are right now. That's my aspiration, that I can be half of the teachers that they are, because they're great, and they brought me so much more than just a lesson. Mm-hmm. They became mentors and role models and friends, and they keep being that person for me.
That's
so shout out
cool.
for all of them, and shout out to you for all of the new things you're bringing into Lincoln.
Thank you. Thank you. You're one of those teachers that we want to help grow and continue to be part of this community. One of those irreplaceable teachers that not only represent what's ahead of us, but also represents some of the history of our kids. So I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I really want you to thrive here. And my message to you and all teachers is continue to thrive. And whenever you feel that your voice is not being heard, or whenever you feel you have something to say, there is always an opportunity, at least in my school, for you to voice your desires and your vision. So I'm very proud of you, and really grateful for this episode. We just barely got started, so hopefully we can do this again. Sure. And in the meantime, I want to encourage all teachers, staff, whoever is watching this episode, to stop by Jocelyn's class.
Everyone's
306.
306.
The famous 306. She's been connected to the classroom for like a decade.
Right?
So
almost a decade.
Yeah, stop by, ask her questions, and let's keep doing this. I will continue bringing more staff members to build this Lancer by Design together. So thank you.
Thank you.